The small and landlocked country Laos in Southeast Asia is often described as a hidden gem. But behind its quiet reputation lies a long and fascinating history shaped by ancient kingdoms, foreign powers, colonial influence, and modern struggles. To understand Laos today, we need to explore how its history unfolded from its earliest civilizations to the nation we know in the present day. Human settlement in what is now Laos dates back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence shows that prehistoric communities lived along the Mekong River Valley, an area that provided fertile soil and abundant fish. One of the most mysterious remnants of this early period is the Plain of Jars, a vast archaeological landscape filled with hundreds of giant stone vessels, some weighing several tons. Scholars still debate their purpose, but most agree they were connected to ancient burial practices, dating back at least 2,000 years. These early cultures laid the foundations for later societies that would emerge in the region. By the first millennium, Laos was influenced by powerful neighbors, particularly Indianized kingdoms in Cambodia and Thailand. Trade routes carried not only goods, but also ideas, including Buddhism and Hinduism. Over time, Theravada Buddhism became deeply rooted in the culture, shaping the values, art, and traditions that remain central to Laos today. The most famous chapter in Lao history began in the 14th century with the founding of the Xang kingdom. In 1353, Phang Ngum, a prince raised in the Khmer Empire, established the kingdom of 1,000,000 elephants, Xang. The name reflected both the wealth of elephants in the region and the strength they symbolized. Under Phang Ngum's rule, Theravada Buddhism was promoted as the state religion, uniting diverse ethnic groups under a shared cultural framework. Xang grew to cover much of present-day Laos, parts of northeastern Thailand, and even areas of Cambodia. Xang's prosperity continued for centuries, fueled by agriculture, river trade, and its strategic position in Southeast Asia. However, maintaining control over such a large and diverse territory was difficult. Internal struggles for power, combined with pressure from neighboring states like Siam, Vietnam, and Burma, often weakened the kingdom. Despite these challenges, Xang left an enduring cultural legacy, including monumental temples, artistic traditions, and a strong Buddhist identity. In the late 17th century, after a period of internal conflict and succession disputes, Xang fractured into 3 smaller kingdoms, Wang Prabang in the north, Vientiane in the center, and Champasak in the south. This fragmentation made the Lao territories more vulnerable to foreign influence. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Siam, now Thailand, extended its control over much of Laos, turning the region into a vassal state. This period was marked by population displacements, including forced migrations, which reshaped the demographics of the area. The next turning point came with European colonialism. In the late 19th century, as France expanded its empire in Southeast Asia, Laos became part of French Indochina in 1893. Under French rule, Laos was treated as a backwater colony, often overshadowed by Vietnam and Cambodia. While the French built some infrastructure, including roads and schools, they invested little compared to their other colonies. Still, French influence left lasting marks, including the introduction of Western education, administration, and even architectural styles, which can still be seen in parts of Vientiane today. World War II and the shifting tides of global politics brought new challenges. During the Japanese occupation of Southeast Asia, Laos briefly experienced independence, but after the war, France reasserted its control. This period of instability, however, fueled nationalist movements. By 1953, Laos gained full independence, becoming a constitutional monarchy. But independence did not bring peace. The Cold War quickly pulled Laos into global conflict. During the Vietnam War, Laos became a key battleground due to its location along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a vital supply route for North Vietnam. Although officially neutral, Laos suffered heavy involvement in the conflict. The United States launched a massive bombing campaign between 1964 and 1973, making Laos the most heavily bombed country per capita in history. Entire regions were devastated, and unexploded ordnance remains a danger in rural areas to this day. In 1975, after years of civil war, the communist Pathet Lao movement seized power, abolishing the monarchy and establishing the Lao People's Democratic Republic. The new government aligned with Vietnam and the Soviet Union, ushering in decades of socialist rule. The early years were marked by political repression, economic struggles, and isolation from much of the world. Many Lao people fled as refugees, settling in Thailand, the United States, France, and beyond. Over time, however, Laos began to change. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, the country slowly opened up to the global economy. Reforms were introduced to encourage foreign investment, tourism, and regional cooperation. Laos joined the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in 1997, further integrating into the region. Today, Laos is a nation balancing tradition with development. Its population remains relatively small, with diverse ethnic groups contributing to a rich cultural mosaic. Buddhism continues to shape daily life, visible in the countless temples, festivals, and rituals across the country. At the same time, modernization is evident in expanding infrastructure, hydropower projects on the Mekong, and growing cities like Vientiane and Luang Prabang. Despite progress, Laos still faces challenges. Economic inequality, environmental concerns, and the lingering effects of unexploded ordnance all impact daily life. Yet the resilience of the Lao people and the strength of their cultural traditions have ensured continuity through centuries of change. The story of Laos is one of kingdoms and colonization, conflict and survival, tradition and adaptation. From the mysterious Plain of Jars to the powerful Xang Kingdom, from French colonialism to Cold War struggles, and from isolation to cautious modernization, Laos has traveled a complex path through history. Understanding this journey not only explains the present-day nation, but also highlights the resilience of a people who have preserved their identity despite centuries of outside influence. And while Laos may not be as well known as some of its neighbors, its history reveals a nation with deep roots, enduring culture, and a story that continues to unfold. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been to Laos?